After lunch, I washed windows and swept floors, emptied garbage cans, that whole thing. You don't want to know about that, right? What is there to say about it? Cleaning is not what I would say is a fascinating topic, unless you're really into cleaning. Then, if you're really into cleaning, you need a better hobby, or friends tell you that you need a better hobby. It wasn't long before I was unlocking my bike and cycling away as the sun was setting. My stomach rumbled, and I wished that Roxanne had made something. If not, I could order a pizza off Uber Eats. But last time I did that, the driver fell into a portal. Maybe that's why Uber Eats is so expensive now. I reached the security gate and found Mel still sitting there, reading his book in the low light. You know, pulled my pass out of my backpack and showed it to him. You're good. Mel didn't look up as he pressed the button and the gate went up. Listen, Mel, started to say, thinking of an apology. He stared up, waiting for me. I'm sorry about this morning. I was in a rush, but I shouldn't have spoken to you like that. Took a pause. And that book is really good, by the way. Mel stood up, placing Angela's ashes off to the side. It is, but it's sad, you know. Come on, there has to be some good in life, even in the Irish ones. Sometimes there's nothing good in the Irish ones, too. I mentioned as I put my pass away. Good night, Mel. Good night, Matt. Mel returned to his book. As I left the campus and turned on the main road, my mind thought about cynicism. Why do the old get to hoard it for themselves? Can the young take some of it as well? Granted, this thinking wasn't much of an upgrade compared to the thoughts of the past few hours, but at least it was different. At least I didn't have to think about how I royally screwed up and now I was going to pay for it. I was going to space. And so suddenly I was right back to it. I had no idea what I was going to tell Roxanne. Oh, and I might not have told her I was stealing. Whoops. As I cycled, I tried to come up with something. Anything that made me sound less like a piece of shit and more like a somewhat shinier piece of shit. I could tell her that I did this for us. No, she would say I was selfish. I didn't want to go to jail. Again, selfish. As I reached the inner parts of the city, I knew that I was completely fucked. Whatever rock bottom is, this was it. So fuck it. I'll just swing it. Not like things can get any worse. Distracted, I didn't notice the portal ahead turn around sign until the yelling police officer jolted me out of my mind. Hey, idiot! A police officer with a thick mustache standing in front of a barrier yelled at me. What? I looked up and stopped just short of the cop as I finally noticed the portal several feet away. What are you doing? Didn't you see a sign? Turn around. The police officer pointed the other way. Right, right. I'm sorry. I turned the bike around. Jesus, cyclists in this city. The cop mumbled under his breath as I cycled away. The rest of the way home, I tried to keep myself focused on the road, on cycling, like I was doing at work. Just keep engaged in what I'm doing instead of this huge thing that was hanging over me. I don't remember much else. I recall getting to the apartment building and locking up my bike in storage. Then I was leaning against the elevator wall as it went up. I had my arms folded. I really didn't want to talk to anyone. I think if someone had gone on and tried to talk to me, I would have exploded. Also, what's the deal with that? Why is it that people have to get on elevators with other people who they don't know and talk to? Why can't we ride elevators in silence? Sorry, I'll get back to it. Thankfully, the elevator arrived at my floor and I slowly walked to my door. It felt terrifying. A bead of sweat ran down my neck. Maybe this winging it idea wasn't the best solution. Reaching my door, I rested my hand on the doorknob. I could hear music coming from inside. Was that Beethoven? Mozart, perhaps? And did I smell something? Pasta, perhaps? Sounds like there is a nice night waiting for me. Too bad I have to ruin it. I opened the door and stepped inside. Suddenly, I was engulfed in a hug by Roxanne, and she kissed me. Welcome home. She kissed me again. Whoa, what brought this on? I held her in my arms. I'm just happy to see you. And dinner is almost ready. Roxanne took my hand and I followed her to the kitchen. I saw a pot of simmering tomato sauce and another pot of boiling pasta. The table was already set with tablecloth and lit candles. The scent in the air was intoxicating and made my stomach rumble. You didn't have to do this. I don't mind cooking, I said. Well, considering your style of cooking is ordering something off Uber Eats, I thought I would make something. Roxanne let go of my hand and stirred the sauce. Right. Sorry. I wrote it back. Thank you for this. You're welcome. Roxanne kept stirring the sauce. I needed a drink. I opened the fridge and took out a beer as Roxanne opened the oven and removed some hot Italian bread. How did you make this? I sipped my beer, wishing that the alcohol would deafen my anxiety. I looked up how to do it. It's pretty easy. Roxanne set some plates on the counter and put some pasta on them. And she added a healthy portion of sauce onto it. And she added a few pieces of Italian bread. Ready to eat? Roxanne picked up the plates. Yeah. I followed after her, beer in hand, and sat down at the table. Roxanne placed a steaming plate of pasta in front of me, another at the other end of the table, her spot, then sat down. Before I came to stop myself, I started to eat. The food was delicious. It reminded me of an expensive restaurant that Roxanne and I went to once. It was one of those ones where you had to wear a nice jacket. Luckily, I had one. This food was as good as that. Actually, I think it was better. Now, as I'm writing this up in space, I miss that pasta so much. What I wouldn't give for that food once again. Anyway, back to the story. Waited in silence for a few moments. The only sounds were chewing and drinking. Fuck. What was I going to tell her? Is it better to tell her now? Just get out of the way? Because if I tell her later, she'll get mad at me for not telling her sooner. But if I tell her now, she'll get mad at me for ruining this nice dinner. How was your day? Roxanne took a bite out of bread. It was good. Drank some beer. It was almost empty. Good. Come on, Matt. Good. Come on, Matt. You have to have more than that. Roxanne narrowed her eyes at me. Fuck. Brian bugged me again today. I drank down the rest of my beer. What did he do? Shades the pasta. He was just his usual annoying self. Fuck. I wish there was blood on him that would make him less annoying. I got off the chair and walked over to the fridge. There's no sense in getting mad at him, Matt. You can't change other people. Roxanne took another bite of pasta. I took out another beer and sat back down to the table. Yeah, I guess you're right. Continued the pasta. Maybe after dinner you can play your violin. Roxanne smiled at me. I would like that. I drank from my beer. I have to tell you something. What's that? I have to go to space. Place my fork off to the side. Go to space? But that doesn't make any sense. Is this a joke? Because it's not funny. Roxanne set her fork down as well. It's not a joke. They told me today. I almost reached for my beer, but decided to leave it alone. Just tell me you can't go. You're janitor after all. You don't belong in space. Roxanne stared at me and I could see her nostrils starting to flare. I can't do that. I have to go. Why do you have to go? I rubbed my hands together and quiet. Matt, why do you have to go? Roxanne asked again. Because they caught me stealing and it told me it was space or jail, I said quietly, while trying to avoid Roxanne's stare. You were stealing? Roxanne rose from the table and walked away. I went after her. There's another way to pay for your pills. I had to do this, I said as I followed her into the living room. Matt, there were other ways. I could have gone job, or you could have asked for a raise or money from parents. There's always other solutions. Turn away from me. Come on, you know that I couldn't get a raise, and I wasn't going to take money from my parents, and you know that you couldn't have gone job. Not like how you were. Tried to approach her, but she walked away from me. Wow, you didn't even try any of that. Just went right to stealing. If you my information, maybe I could have got a job. Maybe not. But you didn't even come to me, Matt. Roxanne gestures at the room and then do TV if he has seven. What about that? I'm guessing he only paid for those. Roxanne tried to reach for her. No, 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 don't do that. You told me that you were able to buy the pills and the rest of that shit because of some bonus. Roxanne started to cry. Why would you lie? Why didn't you just talk to me? She left the room and headed into the bedroom, slamming the door behind her. Fine. Be that way. I walked to the bedroom door and slammed my fist on it. But I did this for us, I yelled. No response came from the other side. Fine. I'm crying there. I'll just sleep on the couch. Some fucking feminist you are. Why aren't you sleeping on the couch? Equal rights, my ass. I walked away and headed back into the kitchen. I opened the fridge and took out the rest of the beer. Then I picked up my forgotten plate, blew out the candles, and grabbed the rest of the bread on my way out of the kitchen. Then I sat down on the couch and drank and drank. Somehow it helped tickle the shittiness of this past day and pushed it away. After several beers, I no longer felt it, but Roxanne never came out of the room. Yet I kept on drinking and drinking.